All right, listener, welcome to another deep dive with us.
Yeah, looking forward to this one.
Today, we are diving into the world of RFPs.
RSP is always a fun one.
Yeah, it's a pretty interesting world. And, we asked for some material from you listeners, and you sent over some really fascinating stuff.
You have some juicy stuff in there.
So today, we're going to be talking about both sides of the RFP process.
Right, so what makes a really strong RFP?
Exactly. And then how do you actually strategize to win a bid?
Yeah, because it's not as simple as just submitting something, is it?
Oh, no, not at all. There's real art to it. And you know what? One thing that really stood out to me in this material was this company, KTB.
Okay, yeah, I saw them mentioned a few times.
They're everywhere. They seem to be involved in every aspect of RFPs, from creating them to helping companies win bids. They're like the RFP gurus, I guess you could say.
It's interesting, they seem to position themselves as having expertise on both sides of the fence.
Is that common to see? I mean, is that unusual to have a company that's kind of mastered both sides of the RFP coin?
It's not unheard of, but it is intriguing to see a company that's so deeply embedded in both sides of the process.
Yeah, like they're not just consultants. They're actually out there doing the work.
Yeah, exactly.
Well,
And that practical experience can be really invaluable.
right, because they've seen what works and what doesn't firsthand.
Absolutely.
One thing that they emphasize a lot is that their RFP documents are, well organized and concise. They really harp on that, and that they consider every aspect of the requirement.
Right.
It almost feels like a subtle dig at some of the other players in the field, like the ones who are drowning companies in paperwork.
Yeah, I see what you mean. It's like they're saying, we've been there, we know what a nightmare a poorly written RFP can be.
Exactly. And I think it really highlights how important clarity and focus are in an RFP. If you're a company putting one out there, you really need to make sure it's clear, concise, and gets to the heart of what you're looking for.
Absolutely. A well-crafted RFP can be the difference between attracting the right bids and getting lost in a sea of proposals that just completely miss the mark.
Yeah, it's all about quality over quantity, right?
Exactly.
So listener, if you're ever tasked with creating an RFP, think like KTB, keep it tight, keep it targeted.
Good advice.
But of course, it's not just about the RFP itself, right? KTB also talks about what it takes to craft a winning bid. And this is where things get really interesting, because they start talking about things like industry knowledge, broad networks, and market intelligence. Right. It's like there's this whole other game going on behind the scenes.
It's true. It's not just about meeting the stated requirements. It's about understanding the nuances, the unspoken needs, anticipating potential challenges.
Right. It's like being a detective almost.
In a way, it is. You have to read between the lines. For example, an RFP might subtly hint at a preferred software or methodology.
Oh, interesting.
Right, and a company with deep industry knowledge can pick up on those cues and tailor their proposal accordingly.
So it's about really understanding the client and what they're looking for, even if they don't explicitly say it.
Exactly, and that kind of insight can make all the difference between a yes and a thanks, but no thanks.
Wow, so it's really a lot more nuanced than people might think. Now, KTB doesn't just stop there. They're also all about what they call precisely tailored solutions. And that really piqued my curiosity. What kind of unique demands are we talking about here? What kind of projects are they tackling with this approach?
Yeah, that's the million-dollar question, isn't it? How do they actually tailor their approach? Is it specialized teams with niche expertise, or is it more about having a really adaptable methodology that they can apply to different situations?
Right, because they don't really go into detail about that in the material that we saw.
It's unclear, but either way, they're clearly tapping into something that's working for them.
Yeah, they seem to have a lot of confidence in their ability to deliver these precisely tailored solutions, whatever they may be.
Right, and I think that confidence probably stems from their experience.
Yeah.
They've been there, they've done that, they've seen it all.
Yeah. That's got to be a huge advantage in this field.
Oh, absolutely.
Well, this has been really eye-opening. We've gone from the basics of RFPs to uncovering this whole hidden world of strategy and insight.
Yeah, it's a fascinating area to explore.
It really is. So, expert speaker, before we wrap things up, any parting words of wisdom for our listener as they navigate this complex world of RFPs?
As you delve deeper into this world, just remember that clarity, strategy, and a deep understanding of the process are absolutely paramount.
Couldn't agree more.
And don't be afraid to ask questions.
Right.
Challenge assumptions. Seek out experts who can guide you through the complexities, because there are a lot of them.
Fantastic advice. So, listener, next time you come across an RFP, remember there's a lot more to it than meets the eye.
Yeah. Think strategically, think creatively, and don't be afraid to channel your inner KTB.
Until next time, listener, happy RFPing.
Happy bidding, everybody.